You know, the funny thing is, one of my comments, someone said to me, dude, I thought you were 65 years old. I'm like, yeah, that would be awesome, bro. I would be wiser. You know, that's a compliment, man. You tell me I'm older than I am, that means I'm smarter, I'm wiser. I know more things, have a lot of experience. So anyway, today I'm going to be talking about age gap relationships. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, where does it happen? Well, over here, bro. I've seen tons of older guys in the Philippines with younger ladies, beautiful younger ladies. Yeah, it definitely happens over here in the Philippines. Now, does it happen other places? It does. But, you know, if we look at the West, you know, once upon a time in the West, it happened more, you know, where basically the lady might have been like 10 years younger, maybe 15, maybe even 20 or something like that over in the West. My father, I think his is like 15 or 16 years younger than him, his girlfriend, and they've been together for a long time. And but here's the thing, over in the U.S. also they're sort of changing. You know, women are trying to take over there. You know, they're putting, even though it may not be directly, it's a lot of it's indirectly a takeover over in the West by the women. But you know, you're starting to see all these female teachers over there in the West that are doing inappropriate things over there in the West, you know? So it's pretty disgusting, bro. It's pretty disgusting. Personally, myself, yeah, I've been in the Philippines. Unfortunately, I had to meet dozens of girls because the girl that I came here for, it was a tragic story. I got one of the videos on my page about it. But yeah, it just didn't work out. So I had to meet dozens of beautiful women, young, beautiful women over here in the Philippines. But some people say, Mike, you're living your best life. But anyway, let's talk about, yeah, over there in the West, it's becoming the women. And they're not just becoming age gaps, they're becoming freaking pedophiles, bro. And then a lot of them don't get punished as strictly as the men have been getting punished. Anyway, bro, let's talk about more. Oh, I meant to go this way. So over here, the men. Now I know I might have some people say, "Oh, they're with you because you're an ATM." Of course, a lot of those will probably be trolls, snowflakes, feminists, that kind of people, you know. But does it happen? Of course it happens, you know. I mean, life's not perfect. You know, every population has good and bad, you know, every race, everything, right? But what happens a lot is basically what happens more than that, I think, is women over here, younger women, get with older guys, and it's not just foreigners. I know there's plenty of women over here that are with older Filipinos too. Filipinos, sorry. And so it's not just foreigners, you know, that's ridiculous. Why does it happen? You know, I'm gonna say one of the biggest reasons it happens, well, the biggest reasons we'll talk about it is women want security. They want wisdom. Over here in the US, if they're a smart girl, they're going to want to be wise, you know. They're going to want security and so forth. And you know, stability, financial stability, all sorts of stuff like that. You can't blame them. Why not? Why the freak not? And as far as the guys go, of course, they like the beauty. But there's a lot of other things too with it. I mean, they don't have to deal with all the pre-drama stuff that happens. Um, the women have been through other boyfriends, they've been through other troubles, maybe they have kids, and all sorts of stuff happens to a lot of women. And yeah, if a guy's with a younger woman, he has to deal with less baggage from that woman. Also, the energy level. I like energy. I love energy, and it's awesome. The energy level from younger women, especially ones that take care of themselves. Which Asian, Filipina, they do that quite often. They take care. Oh my goodness, they really take care of themselves over here. A lot of these Filipino women, they're amazing. Um, so and the looks, and yeah, just good stuff. You know what I mean? Anyway, as far as the women, they tend to want what I told you. Now, let's talk about the bad things about it. But I was just thinking when someone said that I look like 65, I've also had some comments about me being like with under, you know, being anyway. I hate to say this. Anyway, what I'm going to tell you, freaking jerk that came into my comments and said something about, dude, what are you, it called me a PD. Anyway, PD, what I'm saying. I hate to say it, and I don't want to get flagged or anything on here, but I'm gonna tell you right now, your snowflake group is more like that. I'm an independent. I'm an independent. That's who I am. I'm not a freaking any party, anything like that. But your snowflake people is like that. I think more than anybody. That's my opinion. Now, we'll see. I mean, well, I've heard stories about that last president, and and I hear stories all the time about what's going on over there. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about. What is the disadvantages of the whole age gap relationship? Well, there's disadvantages as well. I mean, an older woman can have wisdom, um, not just baggage, but also have wisdom, and could be smarter. And she could be from the generation that is stronger. But if you could get a younger one that is more into that kind of generation that believes in work and doesn't believe in being um, a freelance girl, that kind of thing, then that's pretty awesome. Um, but yeah, the medical aspect, you know, if a girl's with an older guy, then the guy might not have but 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever. But if he takes care of himself and everything else, then it's sort of different. Now, one thing they say over here in the Philippines is age is just a number. Um, you know, but I will say, yeah, if a guy's 70 years old, he's probably not going to make it to 100, so he's probably not going to have another 30 years like you probably are statistically. But I also will say this: I've seen many, many young people not live very long. So you can't really, count on everything, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing, but also could be a bad thing. I mean, some of them could be after some insurance money. You got to think about that too, right? Um, Guys and their families, your families might want to, think about all that. But, I do, one of my rules is whatever makes you happy. I've got some people close to me that do things that I don't agree with. I don't like it, but it makes them happy. So I'm like, okay, whatever makes you happy. And I want them to feel the same way to me. You know, if something's making me happy, hey, that kind of thing. So that's how I live my life. Whatever makes you happy. I also say YOLO, you only live once. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. And I'm enjoying it out here in the beautiful Philippines. 70% cheaper than the US. People that are freaking really, 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 really cool. These people, most of them are very awesome and pretty safe out here. I'm not going to say it's the safest place in the world, but it's pretty safe. Unaliving rate, you know, less than the US. And, you know, I mean, you guys put in the comments. Oh, subscribe to me if you don't mind, but put in the comments what you think about everything. Do you have a story to tell? Maybe. I mean, I can tell you this. I've dated, at over 50 years old, I've dated girls that were 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You know, I've dated all those ages. Now, the girlfriend that I decided to go with is, she's at 33 years old. But I came for a girl that I was crazy about that was 25 years old. And, you know, once again, I dated the other ones, but a lot of the younger ones were going to college and they weren't looking for anything serious. I thought they were too, and that's why I dated them. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Like, subscribe, share, whatever. Peace. Thank you.